Even though South Florida might not seem real spooky, we do have a couple of places that you would consider to be haunted. In fact, there's a lot of national shows that have done specials on some of those big haunts. And probably the most popular, if you're new to South Florida and don't know, it's called the Riddle House, a place you can actually go and see, though you can't go into the most haunted room because it's padlocked, because they believe the spirits there will actually scrape you and attack you.
I was trying to listen to the spirits the last time I was there, but I was too busy listening to Virginia get scolded by the older woman who worked there. She was having none of it.
What was Virginia doing?
She was trying to. There was a group of people, and Virginia was trying to make zingers towards me, and
Yeah.
she, whispers over here. She's like, yeah, look at his shoes.
All I
And
need is one person laughing.
She comes down and goes, "Be quiet. People are trying to listen." And it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was shut her down.
I remember the one thing both you and I noticed, they had a doll that was in there that was so creepy looking. You'd walk through and you could see the living room there at the Riddle House. I'm like, that alone looks like that's a little demon doll.
Yeah, I think they swap out some of the items at times.
Okay.
To kind of change it up a little bit. At least that's what I was told.
If you don't know the story of the Riddle House, you can go see it in Yesteryear Village, which is at the South Florida Fairgrounds. It was featured on the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures in 2008. This house was built back in 1905, and it was a funeral parlor at Woodlawn Cemetery, the first cemetery in the city of West Palm Beach. And so alone, you've just got all these souls that are raising out of the graveyard and walking through, apparently, this former funeral parlor. The rumored entities include a Confederate soldier who was shot and killed in the pineapple processing plant. And at the Riddle House, an accused thief named Joseph hanged himself in the attic, while a boy named Andrew fell from a window to his death. So there's been at least 2 deaths in there, one outside, and then you've got all of the spirits from the funeral parlor apparently going through. And Joseph, the one who hanged himself in the attic, that is apparently the one that he's a very angry ghost, and he is the one that will attack people. People have gone in there and taken photos coming out with scratch marks on the back of their neck.
I've been trying to get a team in there so we could stay overnight, do some research, get some audio or video. It's very tough to get in there. Very tough.
Yeah, you got to be some national show or something.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if that's going to be easy to do. I just know it's tougher to get in there.
Okay.
We've been trying.
All right. Well, it's there. If you want to go see it, you can actually walk through and check it out. But yeah, you cannot get into that room. If you get to the top and you see a door that's padlocked, that's the door to the attic.
I'd stay in there overnight by myself just to see what happens.
Hell no.
Oh, man.
Is there any way you'd do that? Or would you be too horrified?
No, I just think I'd be uncomfortable.
He wants his sleep number bed.
You're right, I do. You give me a sleep number bed in there, a good fan, I'd maybe consider
So
it.
you wouldn't be scared then?
I would be a little freaked out because it's just a creepy house on top of it. And then kind of knowing those stories, I don't mess with any of that stuff. I wouldn't want to tempt fate. So it would, I know you love that stuff, man. Some people just love being scared. I don't like being scared.
I when we did the Lake Worth Playhouse, because that place is supposedly haunted,
Yeah.
I stayed there by myself overnight, and that place, it seems like there's got some pretty good activity.
Yeah, like I said, even though, it's South Florida and it's sunny with palm trees, there are a few spooky places that if that's your thing, you like to check out real haunts, you can go and see. And the one would be the Riddle House. There is another one if you're further down south, the Biltmore Hotel in Coral Gables, built in 1926. And it is supposed to be very haunted. During World War II, it became a hospital for soldiers, and it was once the tallest building in Florida, and at one time had the biggest pool in the entire world. So it was
It is a big ass pool.
Uh-huh.
I've been there. I've stayed there. Panda hated it because it said it smelled like old people.
So pool ghosts?
Maybe. They don't do what the Breakers does at the Biltmore. The Breakers has a filtration and aeration and like an air deodorant system that even though the Breakers is old AF, it will never smell old because they spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
The Biltmore doesn't do do that. Their place smells old.
The other thing the Breakers does, they have that $30 million CapEx budget every year that they use. They'll tear out carpets and redo walls.
Totally.
Because the sea air gets into those carpets and into the walls, so they're always redoing the walls and carpets so it doesn't have that funk.
And let's face it, the Breakers have classier ghosts there.
They do.
That's just their classier.
Top notch. Top notch. Yeah, the hotel has been seen in various movies and television shows. It was in an episode of Miami Vice. It was in the movie Bad Boys.
It's definitely spookier.
Yeah, and the story as to why it is haunted is all about a mobster named Fatty Walsh, who was killed in the hotel during a gambling dispute, and he apparently is still there. Guests have reported seeing a woman in white in the rooms, and it's believed she is the ghost of a woman who jumped out of the tower
Unrelated?
at the Biltmore Hotel. Unrelated, yeah. And then there's also a dancing couple that is seen in the ballroom waltzing across the floor, and then they just suddenly vanish.
I wonder why old-timey ghosts seem to be more prevalent. You start talking about Confederate soldiers and ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
What are the modern day? Even the ghosts.
Can you imagine if you saw like an emo ghost?
Yeah, even the one that I got.
And they were wearing skinny jeans. I mean, is that intimidating?
The ones that I got at my place they're old timey looking.
Yeah.
I want to see one from like 2022.
It is fascinating. That seems like what a haunted area. And this is, the Biltmore was built in 1926, right in that era of spookiness.
You wonder too, are time periods just more likely to be haunting? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, did people from that certain time period never cross over?
I think part of what it is when you're talking about structures that are still standing, as old as you're going to get is something in the 20s. And so anything that is older is going to have stories and time, and people will add more to it because it just feels older and looks older. And so I think that's a big part of it. I mean, that thing was built almost 100 years ago.
Dang.
Plus, anytime you're talking Confederate soldiers and war and a lot of loss and death and mass amounts of death, maybe that amount of death can conjure up some more spirit. It makes it a little bit more ghostly.
Unrested.
Yes.
Yeah. There was one that I'd never heard of, and I read a lot of these off every single year. I'd never heard of Gilbert's Bar House of Refuge. I just saw this one yesterday. It is the oldest surviving building in Martin County, and it's on Hutchinson Island. It's designated as a haven, or was, for shipwrecked sailors. They built it in 1876, especially around the turn of the century, going into the early 1900s. There would be so many shipwrecks that would happen. If they had a big storm, they would have somebody that worked at the house, and they'd just walk up and down the beach looking for people that had wrecked in a ship, because they didn't have the same kind of weather forecast to say a storm was coming. So if you got caught up in a hurricane, and you're like, what the heck? How bad's this storm? It would destroy your ship, and then some would survive, some would not. And then they would always look for survivors on the shore after a hurricane.
Dang.
Crazy, right? I never even thought about that, but that's what it was. And so they built all these homes of refuge. There were about 10 different ones built up and down the coastline. And that was their sole purpose, is they would have somebody that resided in there, and they would have to walk the shore looking for bodies or survivors after a big storm.
And this structure still exists?
Still exists, yeah.
Ooh, I want to go there so bad. I mean, you just sold it hard.
Let's do it. Let's
I wanna go.
At nighttime.
Yeah. They say the facility also served as a lookout for enemy submarines during World War II. So it's been around and been used for a while. And the really fascinating story about why it would be haunted, aside from just all the bodies washing ashore, a possible cult started at Gilbert's Bar House of Refuge. People lived there with a man that claimed to be some kind of messiah, and it turned out that he was a doctor named Cyrus Teed, later renaming himself Koresh. And the new name came from the religion of Koreshanity, and more than 250 people stayed at the location, while the apparent messiah passed away in 1908, and they just propped his body up.
Weird.
And just left it in the house. And finally, it started to decompose and things were falling off of it, so they went and put it in a mausoleum that I guess got wiped out in a powerful hurricane. And so they're saying that his spirit still walks and haunts Gilbert's Bar House of Refuge.
Bar house. Does that mean there's a bar in there? Because that's kind of cool. I want to go.
I think maybe that's what they used it for, possibly,
All right.
at some point.
If this thing is still kicking, I say we go get some drinks.
I also kind of, I don't know, the older I get, the more appealing leading a cult sounds. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just talking out loud.
I can see you doing
Yeah.
I could see you leading the
You
cult.
Going out in the woods,
Yeah.
getting just a compound somewhere.
Just aimless
You
people
kind
fall
of
in the
already
bird.
do lead a cult. They're called the Snack Pack.
Yeah.
We're taking new members. We're growing.
They say witnesses have reported hearing phantom footsteps and seeing people appearing and quickly disappearing at Gilbert's Bar House of Refuge
Oh yeah,
on
we
Hutchinson
gotta
Island.
check this out.
I'm in.
Guests have smelled the aroma of beef stew wafting out of the kitchen, which hasn't been open since the 1940s.
I love beef stew.
A beef stew ghost? Now that is something I can
Yeah.
sink my teeth into.
So there you go. That's another haunt to add to the list of places to go and check out. They say that 19% of people say they've seen a ghost. And of the people that have seen a ghost, 29% said they knew the person. That to me would be terrifying.
Oh, if someone passes away and then they come back to you as a ghost,
Yeah.
that is next level.
I don't think, see, I go the opposite. I think a ghost from a loved one is comforting. A ghost from a stranger is way more scarier. You don't know what they're thinking. If my mom or Aunt Ann or Chewy visited me as a ghost,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. You can't get, unless my mom came back as zombie mom, that would be horrifying.
What if she came back and then wanted to rock your world, like fight you and hurt you?
What a horrible question, first of all. But I want to answer it. I would struggle with this. I think I would have a tough time. And then I'd finally, I think, tap out on the whole ghost world. Like, all right, I'm
she
done.
looks all sweet until she gets up to you. And all of a
And then
sudden,
she goes, "Rah," and turns into a demon face.
That would be horrifying.
She tries to eat your face.
I think that would be my fear is, if I saw like a ghost of my mom and she's approaching, all of a sudden, I'm like, "Ugh."
I don't think you can trust them. Once they come back like that, you don't know what she's going to do.
Well,
It
you
could be
would-
another ghost trying to.
Well, that's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could be wearing a mask of my mom.
She tricked you to think it was your mom, and it's really
Yeah,
some kind of
man.
demon
Yeah.
devil.
It wouldn't be your mom. It would be a trick.
Right.
Yeah, your mom wouldn't come at you like that.
I
Come
would
on.
hope not.
Not unless you were drinking.
Yeah.
Your mom hates you when you drink.
That's a
Even
good
in the
point.
afterlife, yeah.
She would kick that ass.
Yeah, she would have. They say 40% of people have said the ghosts they've encountered have been good compared to just 7% who said they were evil ghosts.
Majority of the ghosts are good. In my experience, I think people are just uneasy about spirit and ghost form.
I don't know, that ghost that you were talking about that got Bigfoot, your friend. The ghost came in his bedroom and had loving moments with him, and he didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's different than my house. But I will say I do have a smorgasbord of type of ghosts. But a lot of them are benign. But there are some weird ones out there.
Okay.
That like to do little tricks.
Well, if you want to see all the different stories and places in South Florida that are reported to be haunted, we do have a whole blog on that you can see on our website with every place that's on there by going to kvjshow.com.